Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Han on the Lookout. Today we are getting into a new series that I start, which is I call it Diving Deeper Into, which we are going to dive into stories and contents that I already played or already watched, and just we will theorize, we will break apart the story and see if there is anything more to talk about those parts, some maybe ideas and things that we can pick apart, maybe for the sequel, for the future, and just things like that. So there will be spoilers and there will be all of those things too. We will dive deeper into the lore. Maybe we also will dive deeper into what we see, what we play. And for today, for the first one, we are diving deeper into Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I really enjoy, which I really love. This game comes out at April 2020, and I think I played it on May 2020, and I really enjoyed the game. And I don't know, it's one of the awesome experience. And as you know, the next one is already announced to be on 2024, which is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And yeah, that's one of my most highly anticipated games that I'm waiting for. Also with Elder Scrolls 6, but I don't think that it's going to happen soon or ever. But yeah, because we still haven't seen anything about it. But like what I really like is I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy. How should I say this? I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy's things. I play a lot of Final Fantasies from like Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 15. So I played a lot of it. But 7 is something that it's not my first, but even with the PS1 graphic, with all that, I think it's a very good story. And so, of course, like everyone else coming into it, I thought this is going to be, as we thought, it's just going to be a remake, the same story and everything. But after looking into the trailer and everything, we realized that there's different aspect, different things happening, especially with this shade that's going around. So after looking at the trailer, before I played it anyway, after looking at the trailer, I do already have those speculation that, oh, maybe this is something like Fate, maybe like things are trying to be different, but this will be something that will keep it the same with Final Fantasy VII, the original. Or my other theory at that time is like, this is some sort of how should I say, they work for Sephiroth. That's what I thought at the first time. And because when we see the trailer and everything, we know that this happens at Midgar, but we saw Sephiroth appearing either with Cloud or to Cloud. So like there is, in the original, we didn't see him in Midgard. So that's kind of a thing that really got me excited at that time when the trailer is out and everyone is discussing, oh, why it seems like there's something different and stuff like that. Some people didn't like that it's going to be different. They wanted to like stay the same. It's just a remake of this very same thing, but newer, like HD and 3D and everything. But I don't know. I think that I actually like it because of that. I have something to look forward to as someone who already played the original 7. It becomes something like, oh, there's something new. There's something that I can anticipate about, something I can theorize about, something that I can talk about. So I really enjoy and I really appreciate that I did that, first and foremost. Second thing is like actually going into the game, like after playing it and everything like that, after playing the whole thing, it really blew my mind away, like how things have become, and how I'm really hyped and I'm really anticipating what's going to happen next. Because I think what's great is that the exploration aspect of it is really good. I think how we can explore, and of course, as those who have played the one before, you can nostalgia a bit about the slums of Sector 7 and all of that. But even for new players, I think you can appreciate the aesthetics and you can appreciate the story in a newer and different level. Because no, I don't know, it's just a very, very enjoyable experience for me. Like, I guess after playing it the whole way, the whole thing, there are several things that I theorized. There are several things that I saw some some reviewers, somebody like Maximilian Dude, who also theorized and talk about Final Fantasy VII a lot, especially after he is playing. That is the same with what I thought, but there is some things that is also different. So I don't know, it's just something exciting to talk about. First and foremost, as we know, the shade, or like, which is the fates, right? Which I already speculate it to be like that. To be it, when there seems to be interrupting things along the way, I become very sure of it, like, oh, these people or these shades are trying to make everything according to the original Final Fantasy VII. Is when Cloud is actually not invited in this one to blow up sector, to blow up the reactor 5, the Mako reactor 5. But they make it so that he has to go because Jesse can't do it, so they lack people, so they need to go and ask for Cloud's help to blow up Mako reactor 5. So at that point, I'm already like 99% sure, okay, this, I don't know if it's a fate or anything, but they are trying to make sure that everything went according to the original Final Fantasy VII. And then going forward and everything, we can see how the contrast that they are not good, but they're not bad also. For example, in the event of Sephiroth attacking Barret and killing him, in a way, he's not dead, but like he was struck down, and then the Arbiters of Fates, or the Fates Shades, I don't know how to call them, they heal Barret, because that's not Fate's design for Barret to die at that point. And then it's also the same with the other dude, like Biggs and everything, like Jesse, like they died in the original. So when Jesse was fighting in the pillar, the shades are swirling around Jesse, because according to fate, according to what happened, like she should have died at that point. So it's just an interesting aspect of it. But I think the key difference that I see is, like, the first time we met Aerith and encountering the fates and all of this, and progressing forward, when we meet her again in the church, when we help her with her quest in slum, like the slum sector 5 slums and everything like that, is that I think at first she is oblivious, or she is not as knowledgeable as she is at the end of the game, of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, this one. I think the first she is more like the original, not the original Aerith, I guess, but it's more like she is just who she is. She knows what she knows according to the same knowledge that she has on the original. But I think going forward, I think the live streams talk to her and giving her knowledge that when we met her after we saved her in the Shinra Tower, the Shinra building, after she was taken away, I think at that point she becomes more knowledgeable on the things that's already happened, maybe in the original, on what she must do and everything like that. Because I don't know, along the way, if you see, there are several times that she seems to know something more when the game progresses. My theory in that is like the Aerith that died and the Aerith that's in the live stream in the original knows what happened, knows that Sephiroth do this, going. I think it's going to a different timeline or an alternate universe and try to influence it according to what he wants, because fate has designed him to lose and he didn't want that, so he's trying to be free of fates and to get his own design forward, I guess, his own fate, like taking control of it. And that's why in this one he is appearing around Cloud and everything, because I think he saw that he needs Cloud to take care of the fates and to, I guess in a way reset everything. Like nothing's going to go the same again, but this is now in our control, in his control, and also in Cloud's and the party's control, like to influence what changed, because it's not fated anymore. It's an open book. I think along the way, Aerith was given the knowledge, or was being told by the Aerith in the original through the live stream. That's how I see it. That's how I see how it's possible that Aerith going forward, it seems to, for me, it seems to gain more knowledge. It seems to know more and more, have more secrets and everything like that. So I think that's the reason. The thing that I still didn't know though is when, when the pillars being attacked, and it's really and Aerith was going to Seventh Heaven and trying to save Barrett's kid, Marlene, and Marlene hugs her, touches her, and there's a distortion, and Marlene feels it, and she steps back, and Aerith just laughed and told her like to shush, like to not bother about it or don't tell anyone about it. I still don't know what that is. Is it because Marlene is also an ancient? Or some way, somehow, the Aerith at that point is the Aerith of the original that's in the live stream that's taking over? Or like, so yeah, I don't know, because going forward, like I said, I think like the knowledge of the Aerith in the beginning when we met her and at the end of the game is not the same. So either she was being told or being educated on all the things that happens by the Aerith in the live stream, or somewhere throughout the journey it switched. It's still Aerith, but now in the body is the Aerith of the original that's supposed to be in the live stream that happens in the original Final Fantasy VII. Or I think that doesn't really have a lot of impact, but I think it can. So like, I don't know, I still don't know what that implicates, because that's weird. I was thinking it for quite a long time even after playing it, but I didn't find any connection there. And what's interesting also after the whole debacle with the fates, and it seems to me that Sephiroth absorbs the fates, right? When we defeat the arbiters of fates and they become this shade of darkness, and that it seems like to be sucked into Sephiroth, everything. So what we don't know yet is that does Sephiroth becomes the arbiter of fate itself, or it's just gone, but Sephiroth just sucked in some of the powers, maybe not the powers of fate itself, but like, battle powers, it can be that way. So I don't know about that too, but that's that's an interesting point too. Like, especially after all the battles and they're fighting in the place where Sephiroth calls like the end of creation, like the end of everything. Yeah, so when they're fighting there and about the 7 seconds and see like what you can do with the 7 seconds. Their theory that it might be 7 seconds when for the meteor to come down, and destroy the planet and everything. Or it's about Aerith's death, or there's a lot of speculation there. But I don't know about Aerith's death though, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the original, when Holy was invoked and tried to get the meteor to stop, it is not enough, right? It is not enough, and the meteor still keeps going into the planet. And Aerith, inside the live stream, helped by having all of the live stream trying to push the meteor away, like destroy it. So, in my mind, Sephiroth knows this, and Aerith knows this, I think, right? So if Sephiroth did the same thing and influenced the same thing to happen, like, then it'll be the same results, or it can be the same result. So I think there might be a difference there, or I don't know, like even is if Aerith's living will invoke Holy faster, or that actually becomes Holy and the meteor actually becomes a secondary thing, because what's important is things change now. It's still significant because it's still a very powerful thing, and the meteor is the catalyst that Sephiroth used to try and destroy the planet. But will it still be the same going forward? I don't think so, and I don't know. So there's a lot of things seen here. What I really like is that in Final Fantasy VII Remake, if we pay attention, they do things differently in a way. Your relationship with one another, with Barret, with Tifa, with Aerith, will affect who helps you at the end when you're fighting Sephiroth, will help you on the quest, on how some dialogues can come up, some dialogues can maybe didn't come out because we didn't finish some things, we're not very close, and etc. Then I was thinking, does the death aspect can be different in that way, and it'll influence different things? I think that's a little bit more complicated, but I think that's something very, very interesting, and I think if they go that way, it can be like, in my mind, okay, it's either very close or not very close, are the one that died. It may be in the same point like Aerith, or maybe it can happen in a different aspect for different characters. If you're maybe like the closest you are is with Tifa, then there'll be a scenario where Tifa is taken out, by Sephiroth, and she died, and then things rolls differently. When in another gameplay, it can be you're very close with Aerith, and Aerith died again in a different point or in the same point, and it rolls out differently, even though they're visiting the same point, right? And then it will becomes different results. And what I think this can work still, because in the end of the day, everything is alternate universe. So I guess they can make like those are different alternate universes that we as the player chose to go to, right? Like when we are very close to Tifa, and maybe a friend of mine is very close to Aerith. That's already a different choice that we make that will, branch out to a different alternate universe. if they're going that way, right? That can be a reason to like justify it, and so it'll make it more ambiguous what will happen and how it rolls out from there. And I think the point of the death here is to inflicts Cloud, not inflicts anything else, the planet or holy or the materia or meteor and everything. I think the death is like to make Cloud feel something, make Cloud do something reckless, or make Cloud do the things that Sephiroth expect him to do if this happens. So it's not more about the materia or holy or the meteor and everything, but it's I guess a mental or like a direct attack to Cloud's psyche. I think that's an interesting take. So the closest one that we have in our journey is the one that Sephiroth's gonna take out. I think that's very, very interesting point. And if they go that way, I think it'll be a very interesting point of view, and I do really want to see where that they can take it and how will they interconnect that from Rebirth to the next sequel, because I know it'll be a trilogy for this Final Fantasy VII. So how do they interconnect that? Will it can be a save file thing in the third installment, or just pick if you didn't have like who you're closest with, what happens, blah blah blah. Or it can be a seamless narrative like the first one in Midgard. Even though we have that, it doesn't really influence a lot. It influences the party, it influences costumes, some dialogues, but not the whole story arc. That can be nice, so it'll be in more control. But if that, then I think the most logical thing is that, in my mind, if that's what they are following, then Aerith died still. It might not be in the same point, but Aerith died in some way. But I think it will be more interesting if it's influenced by our take, how she died, or like how somebody died, in what point, in what way. It's because the reason behind it is to attack Clouds directly, not about the whole aspect. Because even in Midgard, we see that Sephiroth is trying to influence Cloud in many ways, in appearing and then telling he is weak, he cannot save anybody, taunting him, tormenting him little by little by appearing bit by bit, even asking him to join him, and all of this. I think the main point, the main target of Sephiroth right now is not just the materia, it's not just about the holy or about the meteor, but it's Cloud. Cloud is the main thing that, from what I see, is the main thing that Sephiroth wants to influence. So I think that makes sense in a way if that's what happened, right? That's how I see. And whatever happens, if it's by choice or if it's by one narrative like in Remake, that'll be interesting. And I just want to see how they do things, how they take it, how, if it's possible, I don't want it to be like Yuffie or maybe Vincent to be optional, but to be integrated, like, for sure, because little bits and pieces happens differently, and how that will impact the story with Steven and Lucretia, the story with Yuffie, and their connection with one another, their relationship with one another. I just find it interesting, and I just wondered how the difference can be incorporated seamlessly in this narrative, because this is different, a different Sephiroth, a different groups of people with different knowledge. It's the same group of people, but with different knowledge. So yeah, in my opinion, that's like the main target of Sephiroth in this timeline, in this conflict is Cloud. Because before we're chasing him, our party are trying to stop him, and he already have this plan. I think it's the same in this. We are trying to stop him, but also I think the main target of Sephiroth changed. Not to just... his target is still to, reset everything, destroys the planet, blah blah blah. But I think the main vocal of his attack is Cloud. So we will see. This might be a bunch of nonsense. It might not happen. But like, I think it's very, very, very interesting take. And yeah, I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's still 2024. It's still quite far. But yeah, we haven't even talked about Zack and his universe and what I think about it and what happens in Interlude and all that, right? I think in the so there's still a lot going on there, and I think Zack appearing is saying something. It's talking about something, and for me, in my opinion, in my mind, Reunion comes out like right now. There's like a Crisis Core, Final Fantasy Crisis Core Reunion, which is a remake. I think it's a complete 100% remake of the original Crisis Core. I'm not 100% sure. I've checked it in Google. I think it says it is, but I haven't seen any gameplay or stuff like that. Like, it's just to remind us of who Zack is, because it's either we are going to play as Zack also in Rebirth, or he is very important in the narrative that knowing him before will affects us more, or something like that. So they comes up with it. I think there is a point where, in my opinion, Zack will still die. Maybe protecting Aerith, maybe something else, but I think he will still die. My other thought is maybe that at one point either Cloud or Zack will die, and it depends on us, and then after that point we follow the one that's surviving, because I think both of these people have the potential to be a threat to stop Sephiroth and in whatever it is that he's doing right now. And maybe that'll be a thing, but I don't think that they're that ballsy to take Cloud out as a main character. So I think what will happen is Zack will still die after achieving or accomplishing something. That's my opinion. It might be to save Aerith, it might be something else, but that's how I see it. Even though in my opinion they are not in the same universe or in the same timeline, there's no guarantee, or there's no things to say that they won't meet each other, or like one like Zack might get lost in the universe where the Cloud and party is, or vice versa, right? So that's my thought on it, and how I'm going into getting into Rebirth. And of course there's still a lot of things that we can talk about. There's a lot of take that we can come from. We haven't even talked about Genova and all of that, and maybe the effects that Sephiroth will want to have. But maybe we will have a part 2 for diving deeper into Final Fantasy VII Remake, where we will theorize more. We will try to break down more parts of the story, because as we know, several things actually happens differently. But one thing that I really want to happen but doesn't happen, I'm kind of sad, is Sephiroth attack on the Shinra building. In the original, it's so like creepy and mysterious and cool, like when we woke up from the prison and actually like all of the guards are dead, just dead bodies all around, blood all around. And when we we get into the president's office, it's just him impaled by Sephiroth's sword. And I think that's very cool, and it shows how brutal and how crazy Sephiroth is. But in this one, they don't really show blood. It's just those shade smoke thing, even after Sephiroth kills the president. So that's too bad. I hope that they can make it in as a blood, and they can show blood like they show it in interlude, right? I hope they can get it, that take more than just smoky shade and everything. And yeah, I also hope that there is something that's is carried through from the first game. That'll also be cool. Like maybe, like I said, like the relationship thingy, because I'm a sucker for that. I'm a sucker for like building relationship differently. It have different effects, even if it's big effects, small effects. I appreciate it if we can have an interaction and there's a relationship aspect. Somebody's closer, somebody's still close but not as close as this one and everything. I'm a sucker for that. So I hope that carries over, and it it influences something, or it has other small effects like that I think I would really appreciate. And yeah, maybe next time I'll dive deeper into what I think about Zack, and also what will happen in Rebirth. So I think this is a good place to stop it also, guys, and have another diving deeper into Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth Part 2, so that we can talk about it more and we can break down more and more of the stories and see how it goes. And if you guys enjoy it, please put it down in the comments. If you guys have your own theory and everything, please write it down there. Maybe we can also discuss what you guys think, what you guys thought in the next one, so that I can bring it in and just showcase some people's theories in the comment, and give my point of view and my comments on it, my opinion on it, I guess, and just have it as something that we can dive deeper into. I think Marlene is something like several times I saw like she feels something, right? Maybe she has a blood of an ancient this time. I don't know. Yeah, it's just something cool. It's just something exciting. I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I hope you guys are too. And yeah, that's it from me for today, guys. And we will come back for a part 2, maybe next week. And yeah, just dive deeper into it and see, I like talking about things like this, Maybe it'll be the third video. The second video we will talk about other story, other contents, and let me know which one do you want. Maybe the God of War universe, maybe the Star Wars Fallen Order universe with Cal Kestis, because I'm also a big Star Wars fan. And yeah, or anything, just put it down. And it can be movies, it can be games, it can be anything, because I enjoy a lot of it. It can be books even if I read it, and we can talk deeper about it, speculate, theorize, some spoiler talk, just to enjoy ourselves, and talking about the content that we love. And I thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it, and I really enjoy talking about stories and content that I love and I found amazing. So thank you guys for everything, and I will see you in the next Diving Deeper Into. So stay tuned and goodbye, Hans out.